All right, good morning and welcome back to the Attack the Rack YouTube channel. This is the Attack the Rack Friday morning live show with your host, myself, Curt Van Hecken. We go live every Friday morning talking about the week that was in sports and maybe looking ahead to the weekend in sports. Ryan Kruitoff has been in real estate for over 20 years, and he can help you with all your real estate needs. Realtor Ryan has helped me in my journey into learning more about real estate, and he can do the same for you, whether you're looking to buy a home, sell your home, maybe get into the rental property business. Ring Realtor Ryan. I got to start by promoting tomorrow's Attack the Rack podcast with myself and Big Mo. We've got a great podcast coming out tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., as we do every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. We have an incredible interview with Miles Bally. Miles is a former basketball player, played for Big Mo and myself at Granville High School. Big Mo being the head coach, myself just an assistant coach. But yeah, he was one of our former players. I think he graduated. He graduated in 2020, the year of COVID. In fact, during the interview, he did mention how baseball season in the spring that year did get canceled. But anyway, he is now an aspiring country music star, and he is doing very well. He has moved to Nashville. He's currently recording an album. He's recorded a ton of singles so far. He plays in Nashville and elsewhere. I think he said 4 or 5 nights a week, or even as he said yesterday, the day we recorded it, what a crazy day he had. He actually played at a bar from noon to 3, and then he had to go to the studio to work on his album. And then late last night, we did the interview for the podcast. And now this morning, bright and early, he's got to hop on a plane and fly to Phoenix to play 4 shows over the next 3 days in Phoenix. One reason we wanted to have him on now is next Friday night, he's actually going to be coming back to his alma mater, Granville High School, and playing a show at the tailgate before their big homecoming football game. So we thought it'd be a good time to have him on, help promote that a little bit. But we had a really great conversation with him. He's an incredible guy, very talented musician. And yeah, he's doing big things. We also he's a huge Detroit Lions fan. And so we did talk quite a bit of Detroit Lions football with him as well. And hoping to maybe have him back to continue to talk more Lions stuff. So anyway, great interview, part of another great podcast coming out tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And then Sunday morning, 9 a.m., we've got week 3 of the NFL Pick Show coming out. And then right away at 10 a.m., we've got our Prop Bet Pete Show, where Peter gives us 3 prop bets for the day in the NFL. So big weekend coming up here in the Attack the Rack YouTube channel. Closing out a great week that was. 3 daily lineup shows, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Remember, those air on the YouTube channel every Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss those. That's with myself, Big Mo, and Trent. Last night, Indiana Fever, last regular season game, played the Washington Mystics. It was a must-win situation for the Washington Mystics if they wanted to get into the playoffs. They did have a shot if they were to beat the Fever, but they also needed some help. They needed the Atlanta Dream and the Chicago Sky both to lose in order to get that last playoff spot. That last playoff spot ended up given to the Atlanta Dream, who beat the New York Liberty to secure the 8th and final spot. We'll talk about the playoff matchups here in a minute, but first let's talk about the game last night. Not a great game for the Indiana Fever. They started out very hot. They were up 11-0 and then extended that lead to 20-2. And then for the rest of the game, it was all Washington Mystics. They came back already by the end of the first quarter to only be down 2, 24-22. And then they built up a 7-point lead at halftime. Now, Kelsey Mitchell did go down, I think, like 5 minutes into the game with an injury. Don't know the status on that. Not a doctor, certainly. But it did look to me like she was okay. But again, this was a meaningless game for the Atlanta Fever, or for the Indiana Fever. Regardless of what happened, win or loss, they still were going to lock up that that sixth playoff spot. They did end up resting their main players the entire second half, for the most part, the entire second half. But here's the thing: let's not make that as an excuse for giving up that, for giving up that big lead. That big lead was given up by their main players, minus Kelsey Mitchell, who left the game with that injury. So when you look at the score at the end, and the Fever with their bench players in the second half, they came back. I forget how big that lead got, but it was 15, 16 points. And the Fever bench players did battle all the way back, only lost by 1 point. But let's not make any excuses here. It's not like they lost because they played their bench players most of the game. That big 18-point lead was given up by the starters. So again, they were up 18, and then they were down 7. That's what, a 25-point swing. That was given up by the main players on the Indiana Fever. Again, to be fair, minus Kelsey Mitchell. But again, meaningless game. I don't know if the game plan all along was, let's just play our starters in the first half, or was it like, did that kind of change when Kelsey Mitchell went down? And again, the other starters continued to play the rest of the game, or rest of the half. But then it wasn't like, okay, Kelsey's already hurt. This is a meaningless game for us. Let's go to our bench for the duration of the game. So was that kind of determined as the game was going on, or was that the game plan going into the game? So Caitlin Clark finished with 8 points, all in the first half. Again, hardly played in the second half. Only played 20 minutes total in the game. Aaliyah Boston, just 18 minutes. And Kelsey Mitchell, only those 5 minutes before going down with an injury. So hopefully she's okay, because if she is not, I'm not liking the Fever's chances in the playoffs. Kind of cool, though. 20,711 people at that game. That is a WNBA attendance record, largest crowd to watch a WNBA game in the history of the WNBA. The unfortunate thing, which kind of sucks, is that obviously, as we've seen on these road games, when the Fever play, the crowd is quite large, and a lot of them are there to see Caitlin Clark play. Unfortunately, she hardly played at all in the second half. So you got this big crowd, and then you've got Caitlin Clark not playing much, which, again, I think that's why play your best players? It's a meaningless game for you. In fact, that's what the New York Liberty did as well. And they ended up losing, and which allowed the Atlanta Dream. I think the Dream beat them, and that allowed the Dream to get that last spot. So it is a good strategy. It's just unfortunate that you get this huge crowd of people there to see Caitlin Clark, and then she only plays half the game. So playoff matchups, we got the number 1 seed, New York Liberty, taking on that 8 seed Atlanta Dream. We've got the 2 seed Minnesota Lynx taking on the Phoenix Mercury. And then our Indiana Fever, the 6 seed, taking on the 3 seed Connecticut Sun. And then the 4 seed Las Vegas Aces taking on the 5th seed Seattle Storm. Now these, I think all game 1 for all of these matchups is Sunday. It'll be kind of interesting to see how they compete ratings-wise with the NFL on Sunday. Prediction-wise, I do like, as long as they're healthy, I do like the Fever's chances against the Connecticut Sun in round 1 for the upset. But I think, the Aces with that 4 seed, I think they, in my opinion, they're playing the best. They've been playing out of their minds. Asia Wilson playing out of her mind. I almost look at them as the favorite. They are the 4 seed, though. They weren't playing that great until kind of after that Olympic break. They got 4 Olympic players on their team. I think they are the favorite at that 4 seed. The Liberty should have no problem in round 1 with the Dream. The Lynx, no problem with the Mercury. I do look at the Lynx as a possible favorite as well. But I'm going to say Aces, top dog, top favorite of mine to win it all. Lynx probably second. They just play such great defense. Napisa Collier, ever since coming off an injury, she's been incredible. So I do like I like the Aces to win it all. And next, kind of the next team that maybe could give them a run, in my opinion, Minnesota Lynx. I really just kind of the way the Dream or the Fever, Indiana Fever. I think at one point there, coming out of that break, I was thinking, wow, this team maybe could make a run at it. I just the way they've been playing the last week or so, last week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't know anymore. I really don't. I don't think they play good enough defense. I think they take too many bad shots, and they're just too young. I think with Aaliyah Boston in her second year and Caitlin Clark in her rookie year, I really just don't like their chances. But if they play at their best, for long enough, they maybe do have a shot. But again, my favorite, Las Vegas Aces. Let's talk some Detroit Tigers. Wow. What a week for the Detroit Tigers. They swept the Kansas City Royals. Tarek Skubal got his 17th win. That's second most wins in the league. He's also got the second lowest ERA at 2.48. Second in strikeouts and second in whip as well. Great chance for him to win the Cy Young. Who would have ever thought that? So he's got a great shot at winning that Cy Young award. And with the Minnesota Twins losing to the Cleveland Guardians yesterday, the Detroit Tigers, as we sit right now, are actually tied for that last playoff spot, in that last wild card spot. They're only 2 back of the Kansas City Royals now for that. What would that be? The next wild card spot, and just 5 back of the Baltimore Orioles for the top wild card spot. They do have a 3-game series with the Orioles, so hey, you never know. You sweep them, and then the Tigers finish up the season with a 3-game series with the absolutely horrific Chicago White Sox. So there's an outside shot. The Tigers could battle all the way up and get that top wild card spot. We will see. But let's not focus on that. They just got to make sure they lock up one of those spots, which is absolutely incredible. I don't think anyone saw this coming. It's really cool that they're playing these important games this late in the season with just a couple weeks to go here. I think they got 9 games left. So, yeah, a week and a half. And then we'll wrap up here, but we got to talk about Shohei Ohtani. Unbelievable. Yesterday in a 20-4 victory over the Florida Marlins or Miami Marlins, he goes 6 for 6, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. He scores 4 runs himself, and he gets 2 stolen bases. With the 3 home runs and the 2 stolen bases, he now is the first player in Major League Baseball history to join I shouldn't say to join. He has created. He is the only one. He is the solo member of the 50-50 club. First player in Major League Baseball history to hit 50 home runs and also have 50 stolen bases. Never has done before. In fact, nobody had even done 40-40 until Jose Canseco, 25 years ago. So even in the last, it took up until 25 years ago for a player to even get 40-40. Now Shohei has got 50-50. He is the best player on the planet, hands down. You could already make an argument for him as being the best baseball player to ever live. It is insane what he is doing. Next year he'll be pitching again. He had the Tommy John surgery, so he wasn't able to pitch this season. No one else. We've never seen anyone. I mean, Babe Ruth did it for a little bit where he was a pitcher, and a hitter, but we've never seen it in modern day baseball where you've got someone that is a that can hit and pitch. Absolutely incredible. I mean, there's no words to describe it. He is unbelievable, and just a lot of fun to watch, and bringing a lot of fans back, enjoying baseball again. So, and then I guess one other thing, Thursday night football last night, another kind of boring Thursday night football game. Most of those games seem to be boring. But Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets did beat the New England Patriots 24-3. Aaron Rodgers, a nice game, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't know what it was. There could possibly be some drama with him and the head coach. They looked like they had a little spat there maybe as Aaron was coming off the field at one point during the game. You know, in real time, it doesn't necessarily look like that big of a deal, but when you watch it in slow motion, it looks like Aaron Rodgers is kind of giving him a kind of, you know, F you, don't talk to me kind of a thing. So we'll see what that actually was all about. Hopefully, I'm sure the New York Jets are going to do everything they possibly can to keep that under wraps, but hopefully we will be able to find out what that was all about, because it didn't look good. It really did not look good. So, but anyway, we'll get out of here. Hope everyone has a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy a weekend full of football and WNBA playoffs as well. Michigan, they've got USC coming to town Saturday at 3:30. The Detroit Lions are playing the Arizona Cardinals. Michigan State, they got Boston College on Saturday as well. I believe that's a Saturday game. Never know anymore. Sometimes there's Friday night games now, and Thursday night games and Tuesday night games. But yeah, so Michigan's got USC. Huge game for them. They really need a win over one of the either USC or Oregon. They've got to beat one of those two teams if they think they got a shot at the playoffs. First game starting for Alex Orji. He was announced the starter earlier in the week. So we'll see if he can pump some blood into that Michigan offense. Running backs look good against Arkansas State. We're going to need a big game out of both of them, Mullings and Edwards, on Saturday if we think we got a chance against the USC Trojans. But anyway, enjoy the games. Enjoy anything else you're doing this weekend. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, phenomenal podcast, 9 a.m. with myself and Big Mo. We've got an incredible guest, country music rising star, Miles Bally, joins us for a great interview. So we'll see you then. We'll see you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 p.m. for our daily lineup show, again with myself, Big Mo, and Trent. And then we'll see you here next Friday, 7 a.m. for the live show. Remember, these live shows do upload as a video upon the completion of the stream. So if you are not able to tune in live every Friday morning at 7 a.m., don't worry. You can watch the program back at your convenience. All right. Have a great weekend.